So I recently just beat You like weeb shit, right? Enjoy fan service, waifus, uniquely niche gameplay, and Japanese budget jank? Then I've got just the game for you, and not many others unfortunately. Because while Akiba's trip Undead and Undressed shines like a freshly lotioned anime girl's rear on occasion with likable characters, tongue-in-cheek humor, lots of heart, and a true-to-life world, sadly more often than not it suffers poor design choices, bloated repetitive content, and confusing counterintuitive gameplay. Akiba's Trip 2 tells the story of you, the player, a hopeless otaku need, waking up to find yourself having been transformed into a synthesis, a human-vampire hybrid driven by only materialistic desires. But before you can be disposed of for being a failure, a mysterious girl comes to your aid and makes an unbreakable blood pact with you. From there on, you, a mild-mannered vampire, your hopeless yet lovable group of quirky otaku pals, a snide pop star, a shady, full-figured company CEO, and your sweet shut-in Imudo must put a stop to a conspiracy that threatens to plunge all of Akihabara into an eternal night. The game is a combination of visual novels, romance sims, and unique yet overly clunky beat-em-up gameplay. Sadly, while I adored all the various dialogue choices and bits of character you can choose to flesh out your blank slate of an MC, choosing romance routes is cryptic and easily breakable, and some side quests can just straight up can't be completed if you choose the wrong options, making the use of a guide a must. For the combat, you'll need to strip your foes to either shame them or burn away their vampiric mutations. To strip enemies, you must wail on them till their clothes are weak enough to tear, then hold the attack button to strip them, and each type of attack connects to one of the face buttons. However, for some reason, they made square a useless jump, and attached the loot pickup command to the pants attack button for some reason, so you'll often sadly attack instead of pick up what you intended to. The game's lock-on is dreadful since it's automatic, meaning you'll often grab or activate your special attack on an enemy you weren't meaning to. I really enjoy the fact that there were no health pickups in the game, with the game giving you the ability to readjust your clothes to get back to full health. I adore the various team-up attacks. The fact that you could perform Hokuto Shinken on enemies to strip them reminded me why I love video games so much, and when you chain attacks it makes the gameplay extremely addicting. Unfortunately, the game really fails in one of the main features, and that is the side quests, which, while extremely humorous and entertaining most of the time, were frustratingly poorly laid out, constantly glitching out, and hard to keep track of. Speaking of hard to keep an eye on, the inventory was just a bloated mess that was counterintuitive and hard to navigate due to the fact that items of same value never stacked. This is also one of those games that annoyingly has RPG stats for literally everything, so if you get a cool costume or weapon, unless you plan on investing all your points into it, you won't ever use it. Stores are useless, save for side quests, as I always found myself picking up power-ups. Visually, the game is pretty nice to look at, but I do wish there was anti-aliasing. The game is sadly locked to 30 FPS, but at least there were no falters or issues save for the odd occasional hiccup when running, and the one time the NPC names didn't appear. The colors were all really nice to look at, I loved all the character designs, and as someone who lived in Akiba, I can attest to this being incredibly accurate and lovingly detailed. The voice acting, save for some of the background characters, was really fitting and well done. All the combat sounds were well weighted, and the music outside the title theme was forgettable but still enjoyable enough. Well, except the rap in some of the stores, I wasn't a huge fan of that. All the ambience was on point for the streets of Akiba, and hearing the Maid Dreaming thing brought back a warm fuzzy sense of nostalgia. And with all that said, well, it's not going to stand as one of my favorites, and I sure do have a lot of issues with it, I do generally like Akiba's Trip, Undead and Undressed. Past all the glaring annoyances, there is an often fun, well-meaning, addicting, sweet, and enjoyably raunchy game that I'm glad I got to play. Outside of some of the moments here and there, I had a blast beating up baddies, saving Akiba, teasing waifus, and getting to take a virtual vacation for the 15-odd hours I spent with the game. While I can't recommend the game in the slightest at full price, if you can get it on sale and are looking for a good game to relax to, this will definitely be a good pick if you've already played your way through the Yakuzas, Personas, and Deadly Premonitions out there. As always, thank you all so much for watching. If you want to help support the channel, please consider sharing the video with a friend or checking out my Patreon linked in the description below. I want to give a big thank you to not only the show's patrons, but also my great friend Orionite for making the wonderful punish neat that you'll see in both the thumbnail and occasionally in the videos, like right now. Their social media accounts will be linked in the description as well. If you have any comments, questions, or recommendations, leave them in the comments as I read and reply to everything. Until next time, this is Thierry Williamson signing off until the next video. See you guys!